Hello, this is Sorcha Coyle here from Empowering Expat Teachers. Today we're going to be looking at slashing your spending in the time of Corona. So our 5 stages of today's video, we're going to talk about the positive effects of COVID-19, we're going to talk about the importance of being open, we're going to look at the 6 R's, talk about a budget breakthrough, and talk about taking action 90% challenge. Okay, so first of all, you might say, what positive effects of COVID-19? We're in a time that is so unprecedented that I never would have expected, any of us would have expected to see in our life, where the world comes to a standstill, is frozen in fear because of a virus without a vaccine at the moment. So, of course, I sympathise so much with those expats who've lost their jobs, who've had their jobs temporarily frozen, who've had offers rescinded, who've had salary cuts due to the uncertainty and the economic effect of COVID-19. I guess in a way to cope with all this negativity and, sadness, I do always try and look for the silver lining in situations. And so when I reflected a little bit more about what kind of a positive impact this may have had on us in terms of maybe money, spending, how we perceive our job, I had come up with quite a few. Okay, so first of all, I would really hope that people, and expat teachers in particular, now realize that it's so important not to depend only on your salary and on your job in order to have money. We all should be striving towards having multiple forms of income so we don't become fully reliant on just one job or one school or one particular location. We have our salary each month. I am hoping that this will really make us start thinking about what we do with that salary. Let's get out of that vicious circle of relying on our salary. Salary arrives, blowing the salary, spending most of the salary, and then waiting for payday every single month, and then becoming fully dependent on this job, and we almost become like a slave to the job. So no matter what the job tells us to do, no matter how much pressure we're facing, or bossy SLT or workplace harassment, we sort of are stuck in this rut because we're relying on it for our income and we just can't see a way out of it. So it's really important that we start to really realize that this is a chain you have to break, and one way by doing this is slashing the spending, so we're saving more, investing more, and can retire with more, but we're not then just depending on this one particular job, but that we can see a bigger picture and it's not just this job is the be all and end all. Okay, so what I would say is another positive effect is also, I think, that people are starting to realize that money and spending does not equal happiness. We're discovering those simple pleasures. I know for me, going for a walk, the fact that I was cooped up for so long that I can go for a walk in the morning on my own, it's like joyous. The fact that I can meet a friend once a week, I look forward to that because I don't get to go out that much. So, a Zoom with a family, I look forward to that because there's nothing really else much going on in my life. So it's like simple things, sitting in the balcony, having a coffee and hearing the birds sing. I'm starting to take a step back, pause a little bit and appreciating all these simple, free pleasures that I took for granted before. Okay, so, and one way of slashing your spending is to be very open. Please do not be ashamed of experiencing a salary cut. Please do not be ashamed of losing your job. Please do not be ashamed of having to tighten the purse strings. Please do not be afraid that, of having to limit your shopping, limiting your socializing because of money worries. I think it's always very important to be really open, not just, with your family, with your friends, in terms of they can understand if, they'll bear that in mind when this is over and things start to open up again. They'll be aware that, oh, so-and-so's is kind of worried about money, they're looking after their money, they've had a salary cut. Therefore, we'll be more mindful in our choices. We might have options that are a little bit cheaper, or if we go somewhere there'll be a cheaper option, or if she gets a coffee rather than a lunch, we'll understand. Let's go for breakfast rather than an expensive dinner in the evening. People will start to be mindful. They'll appreciate that your honesty in terms of being worried about money or whatever it might be, or that you're trying to slash your spending. I also would say that in terms of a landlord, particularly if you've experienced a salary cut, or you are worried about money and you're worried about when your next paycheck coming in on time, etc. Be open with your landlord. Have that conversation with them about your worries. If you've been a good tenant and you've always paid your rent on time and you've kept the place immaculate, there's no reason why they can't be a bit flexible in terms of your payment date, in terms of maybe giving you a discount in salary, giving you a free month, rewarding the fact that you are a good tenant and a good person. That, in most cases, that does work. Landlords are very understanding and should be aware of the situation. Now, another way to slash your spending is to think about the 6 R's. So this is something I definitely live my life by, and I know people, because we were so limited in what we could do, people started to really go mad on the online shopping. People were, constantly online on Noon, on Amazon, on Souk, whatever it might be, clothing websites, and buying. Now, I'm a huge fan of online shopping, do not get me wrong. But for me, it's a good way to check a price of something that I really need. And only when I've decided to buy something after implementing the 6 R's. So first of all, the first one is reflect. Again, take the time. Do you really need it? Take 24 hours. Go away. Think about it. Can you survive? Please don't impulse buy. I mean, buying something straight away, unless it's like a complete bargain and you've wanted it forever and it's going to bring lots of value to your life, I really would, if you can, reflect. Do you really need it? The second one, reconsider. Again, can you find it secondhand somewhere else? Reconsider buying it new. Can you find it cheaper on a Facebook group that sells secondhand things? On Dubizzle? From a friend? Can you put a post on Facebook? Is anyone selling this secondhand that I could buy it from you? Could you buy it secondhand and make it a lot cheaper for yourself? Third of all, I said rent. I don't really mean rent, that's why it's italicized. I mean borrow, but I couldn't find a verb with R that meant borrow. Can you rent it, aka borrow it from a friend temporarily? Is it something that you will use all the time? Realistically, is it just for once or twice? Why not just borrow it from a friend? I know for me, I wanted to start making smoothies and soups during the lockdown, and I bought a hand blender, which I'm really happy. It's a really great one, and I got the best deal, and I researched it a lot, and I got a really good price for it. However, I mentioned to a friend after I bought it, and they said to me, "Oh, I've got one that I never use. I could have given it to you for the time being." So again, I could have then saved myself 80 dirham, for example. Can you repair something? Do you actually need to buy it, or can you just repair it? I'll give you some examples. I have lots of handbags. Well, actually, it's a lie. I'm a bit of a minimalist, so I have maybe like 4 or 5 handbags, but I had them for years. When the strap breaks, I bring it to a place like a shoemaker or a tailor, and they can sew it up for me and they can glue it. Same with my shoes that I love, particularly those that are real leather. I don't want to throw them out. I get them rehealed, resoled, etc. Even in a bigger example, my Mac. I've had a Mac for years. It was getting old, getting slow. Instead of buying a brand new Mac, what I did was I bought I spent a good bit of money, but it was well researched, on an external hard drive that's really highly recommended. I saved everything to that. I freed up the space, and then I've ordered a new battery from an Apple certified, computer shop, and they're going to replace the battery, and hopefully my computer will be back to brand new. But I haven't paid. I spent 400 dirham on the external hard drive, and maybe I think 600 dirham max on the new battery. And that's 1,000 dirham, as opposed to how much, a new Mac would cost me a lot more. So can you do that? Can you reuse? And again, that is similar to, reconsidering. Can you reuse somebody else's? Can you reuse what you have already? Can you adapt it and use just what you have? Or can you buy it secondhand? And the last one is reward. In terms of your reward, if you really have considered the other 5 steps and you think, yes, I really want this, I'm going to buy it, is there a way that you can reward yourself for it? What I mean by this, can you buy it using a credit card that gives you cash back or air miles? Or maybe you can use your cash back on your credit card to buy this rather than spending your own cash. And maybe someone's bought you something for your birthday. like a gift card, can you use that instead of using your own cash you earn? Can you ask somebody to get it for you as a gift? I know from me with my family, at Christmas time, my parents ask me what I want, and I usually think of something that I've really wanted for a while, and that whole delayed gratification makes it more special. Can it wait and be a gift that someone else can give you instead? Is there an affiliate link to this particular product? So if you buy something on Amazon, can you get the link? And when you recommend it to your friends, you can send them the affiliate link. And then when they buy it, you get a little bit of money back. Nothing huge, but you know what I mean. Same again if it's on an online clothing store, or it might be on something you bought, like an online course that you find really good. When you recommend it to people, do check and see if there's an affiliate link to go with it, because if they use your link and they're going to buy it anyway, you'll get a gift back. Might be some cash back, might be a discount off your next purchase. Why not? Reward yourself for what you bought. Now, after that, what I want you to do is a budget breakthrough. So before you even start making your budget, you need to start tracking your spending. You need to start noting your spending. What are your daily, weekly, monthly spending habits like? Oftentimes we do not realize until we write down everything how much mindless spending we are doing. So I want you to do that for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. I want you to note every single thing down. You might download an app. On the Teacher Socials app, there's going to be an expenses tracker. You might use simply pen and paper. You might use notes in your phone, but note everything that you spend. And then at the end of the week, I want you to look back and see where the essentials. Could you reduce this? How could you reduce this? And then start making those changes in the following week. So gradually you should see a reduction in your spending every time. I know I always say it, but I'm a huge believer in a one no spend day a week. Seeking to implement that and to bring your spending down even further. Okay, last one, 90% challenge. I mentioned this in another video. What I would really like you to do, and again, this is another silver lining of this time in coronavirus, because we have absolutely, very little to spend our money on, and we are limiting our online shopping because sometimes it's more out of boredom or it's more linked to your emotions and actually, you need this item. So what I'd like you to do, I want you to take out your phone, look at your calculator, put in your salary. And I mean your salary. I don't mean with the rent allowance, unless you have a rent allowance and you actually underspend, and then you can add that into your salary if it's extra. But take your salary. I want you to calculate, divide it by 100, multiply it by 10. Next payday, set yourself a challenge to live on that amount. So if you're earning 12,000 dirham a month, that is 1,200 dirham 12,000 dirham a month. You have to live on 1,200 dirham for the month. That will break down 1,200 dirham for the month. That will be 300 dirham a week, and then about 40 something dirham a day. Set yourself that challenge to do that. And again, you don't have to spend that 40 dirham every day. If you don't have a no spend or 2 no spend days, you can let that accumulate. And then you've got a pot that week if you want to do maybe a staycation, once a month with your friend, for example. You can then put it into that. It's still important to have those regular treats, particularly for those of us who are planning to spend the summer here. It'll be a long summer. It'll be like 7-8 weeks. And we definitely need to factor in a treat in the calendar every now and then, just to keep you motivated and making sure you don't splurge. If you have something to look forward to, you're less likely to splurge as well. So that is your challenge for today. Calculate next payday, and then with the 90%, you're going to straight away on the same day check the currency, see what the rate is like. But really, that week you should be sending that 90% back home to your savings in your home country, or to your investment portfolio, or to a different place that you can't touch it, so that it is saved. You can do this via going to a currency house and exchanging it then. I don't recommend doing it through your bank because the currency exchange usually isn't as favorable. Another great tip I'd recommend, another great way of transferring money home would be through the Currency Fair app. And if you I'll put a link to my affiliate link for Currency Fair. I use them myself. They're fantastic. It saves you time queuing up. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. And there's a really nifty feature on Currency Fair whereby you can transfer it to them and keep it in their platform until the currency rate goes up, or to a rate that you want. So you can set it that this money won't move until the euro or pound rate hits this, for example. So that's really brilliant. And if you use my affiliate link to do it, you will get a cash bonus or cash gift, and then so will I. And that really helps me with the running costs of my website. So thank you for that. Okay, I hope you're ready for that challenge. Taking action, do that right now. Mark it on your calendar for payday. That's what your plan is to do on that day. Okay, see you in the next video.